Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, 8th grade students. I am so excited for today. One, because we finally made it through the week. And two, we have some awesome things planned for you guys that are ELA based, but I also think you're going to enjoy. So today what we're going to do is we're going to remind those of you who were not able to attend yesterday and who aren't able to attend today, some of those hand signals that we're going to use in addition to those reactions to be able to communicate non-verbally with each other during classroom discussions. And our goal during the Zoom was to be able to use one different hand signal to communicate non-verbally to me during the classroom discussion. And then we're also going to kind of self-analyze ourselves to describe who we are as readers. And you're actually going to create a book cover that reflects who you are as a reader. So let's get started. The three hand signals that we went over yesterday. The first one was same, me too, meaning that you connect with what somebody's saying, maybe the situation that they're describing, so on and so forth. The second one was that you understand. So if I asked you, does that make sense to you? You can just say, I understand, instead of unmuting yourself, saying yes, so on and so forth. And then the third one is I don't understand. And what's really important is just adding the head shake. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay? And again, that'll let me know, your peers know, and anybody else in the room know what you're thinking without having to find the unmute button, say what you need to, and then hitting mute again. It just makes, nonverbal communication a little bit easier. So one more time, same, me too. I think the same thing. I understand what you're saying. I get that. That makes sense to me. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. I don't got it. I do not get this. Okay? So try practicing those. Go ahead and hit that pause button. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and move on. So I want you to think about this real quickly. If you could hang out with anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would it be? And what would you do? So if it were me, and if I could hang out with anybody in the world, it would obviously be Jason Reynolds. And what I would do, I would go to breakfast. Why? Breakfast is my absolute favorite meal of the day. And I feel like breakfast is always really calm and you can have the best conversations because the day is just starting. So I would go to a little breakfast cafe with Jason Reynolds and we would probably talk about what it's like to be a writer. Which brings me to my next point. Every Friday, we are going to do First Chapter Fridays, and within every month, we are going to have an author who's in our spotlight. Obviously, you guys know my obsession with Jason Reynolds, so our first author spotlight is Jason Reynolds. What I'm going to do to you, or what I'm going to do for you guys, is read from part of one of my favorite books by him. And this book is not set up in chapters, so I'm just going to read the first few pages to kind of give you a gist of what this is about. But the first thing I want to do is give you a preview of what the book is about. So this is a long way down. It is written in narrative poetry. So if you look, it's just a collection of little poems. And it takes place in 60 seconds. The main character travels 7 floors. He discusses 3 rules, and there's 1 gun. So Will's older brother, Sean, has been shot, dead. Will feels a sadness so great he can't explain it. But in his neighborhood, there are the rules. Number 1, crying. Don't, no matter what. Number 2, snitching. Don't, no matter what. Number 3, revenge. Do, no matter what. But bullets miss, you can get the wrong guy, and there's always someone who knows to follow the rules. So, we're going to go ahead and dive in. I really want you guys to listen to the words, and if this is something that you're interested in reading, message me, and I would love to either get you a copy or get it set up so that I can send you something on your iPad for you to be able to read it. Again, one of my favorite books. So we're just going to read a little bit for our First Chapter Friday. Don't nobody believe nothing these days, which is why I haven't told nobody this story I'm about to tell you. And truth is, you probably ain't gonna believe it either, and think I'm lying or losing it, but I'm telling you, this story is true. It happened to me. Really. It did. It so did. My name is William Holloman. But to my friends and people who know me, just Will. So call me Will, because after I tell you what I'm about to tell you, you'll either want to be my friend or not want to be my friend at all. Either way, you'll know me. I'm only William to my mother and my brother Sean whenever he was trying to be funny. Now I'm wishing I would have laughed more at his dumb jokes, because the day before yesterday, Sean was shot and killed. I don't know you, don't know your last name, if you got brothers or sisters or mothers or fathers or cousins that be like brothers and sisters or aunties or uncles that be like mothers and fathers. But if the blood inside you is on the inside of someone else, you never want it to see it on the outside of them. The sadness is just so hard to explain. Imagine waking up and someone, a stranger, got you strapped down, got pliers shoved into your mouth, gripping a tooth somewhere in the back, one of the big important ones, and rips it out. Imagine the knocking in your head, the pressure pushing through your ears, the blood pooling. But the worst part, the absolute worst part, is the constant slipping of your tongue into the new empty space, where you know a tooth's supposed to be, but ain't no more. It's so hard to say Sean's dead. Sean's dead. Sean's dead. So strange to say. So sad. But I guess not surprising. Which I guess is even stranger and even sadder. The day before yesterday, me and my friend Tony were outside talking about whether or not we'd get any taller now that we were 15. When Sean was 15, he grew a foot, maybe a foot and a half. That's when he gave me all his clothes that he couldn't fit. Tony kept saying he hoped he grew because even though he was the best ball player around here, our age, he was also the shortest. And everybody knows you can't go all the way when you're the small one unless you can really jump, like fly. And then there were shots. Everybody ran, ducked, hid, tucked themselves tight. And what we've been trained to do. Pressed our lips to the pavement and prayed the bottom, followed by the buzz of a bullet, ain't meet us. After the shots, me and Tony waited, like we always do, for the rumble to stop before picking our heads up and poking our heads out to count the bodies. This time, there was only one. Sean. I've never been in an earthquake. Don't know if this was even close to how they are. But the ground definitely felt like it opened up and ate me. Things that always happen whenever someone is killed around here. Number one, screaming. Not everybody screams, usually just moms, girlfriends, daughters. In this case, it was Letitia, Sean's girlfriend, on her knees kissing his forehead between shrieks. I think she hoped her voice would somehow keep him alive, would clot the blood. But I think she knew deep down, in the deepest part of her downness, that she was kissing him goodbye. And my mom, moaning low, not my baby, why? Hanging over my brother's body like a dimmed light post. Number two, sirens. Lots and lots of sirens howling, cutting through the sounds of the city, except the screams. The screams are always heard over everything, even the sirens. Number three, questions. Cops flashed lights in our faces and we all turned to stone. Did anybody see anything? A young officer asked. He looked honest, but he had never done this before. You can always tell a newbie. They always ask questions like they really expect answers. Did anybody see anyone? I ain't seen nothing. Marcus Andrews, the neighborhood know-it-all, said, even if he knew better than to know anything. In case you ain't know, gunshots make everybody deaf and blind, especially when they make somebody dead. Best to become invisible in times like these. Everybody knows that. Even Tony flew away. I'm not sure if the cops asked me questions. Maybe, maybe not. Couldn't hear nothing. Ears filled up with heartbeats like my head was being held underwater, like I was holding my breath. Maybe I was. Maybe I was hoping I could give some back to Sean, or maybe, somehow, join him. When bad things happen, we can usually look up and see the moon big and bright shining over us. That always made me feel better, like there's something up there beaming down on us in the dark. But the day before yesterday, when Sean died, the moon was off. Somebody told me once a month the moon blacks out and becomes new, and the next night be back to normal. I'll tell you one thing. The moon is lucky it's not down here, where nothing is ever new. I stood there, mouth clenched, tight enough to grind my teeth down to dust, and looked at Sean lying there like a piece of furniture left outside, like a stained-up couch draped in a gold chain. Them boys ain't even snatch it. Random thought. Blood soaking into a t-shirt, blue jeans, and boots looks a lot like chocolate syrup when the glow from the streetlights hit it. But I know ain't nothing sweet about blood. I know it ain't like chocolate syrup at all. In his hand, a corner store plastic bag, white with red letters. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a nice day. In that bag, special soap for my mother's eczema. I've seen her scratch it until it bleeds, pick at the pus, bubbles, and flaky scales, curse the invisible thing inside trying to eat her. Maybe there's something invisible trying to eat all of us as if we are beef. Beef gets passed down like name brand t-shirts around here, always too big, never ironed out, gets inherited like a trunk of fool's gold or a treasure map leading to nowhere. Came knocking on my brother's life, kicked the damn door down and took everything except his gold chain. Then the yellow tape that says do not cross gets put up, and there's nothing left to do but go home. That tape lets people know that this is a murder scene. And if we ain't already know that, the crowd backs its way into buildings and down blocks until nothing is left but the tape. Sean was zipped into a bag and rolled away, his blood added to the pavement galaxy of bubblegum stars. The tape framed like it was art, and the next day, kids would play mummy with it. So, that's only the first 28 pages. If you are interested in this, it's an amazing book. Remember, these are the first few seconds of his thought process. The whole book takes place in 60 seconds in an elevator traveling 7 floors. Okay? He's focusing on 3 rules that we didn't even get to, and obviously there's 1 gun involved. So, again, if you're interested, please reach out. You guys are going to be exploring more into Jason Reynolds later on, and I'll explain that in a moment. So because we're so fixated on him, or maybe I'm so fixated on him, we are going to do another one of his projects to end the week, and it's focused on who you are as a reader. So it's another one of those write projects. Remember, it's where we're writing. There's no right way to do it, and this is a kind of rite of passage for you guys, a moment where you get to realize that the way you write is okay. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video for you. He's going to explain the project, and I'm going to show you your 2 assignments in Schoology, and then you'll have time to work.
Hello. How goes it? Everybody good. This is your man, Jason Reynolds, and welcome back to the Right. Yo, one thing I'm obsessed about are book covers. I love them. I picked out a few of my faves, right? So let's check this out. Liz Acevedo with The Fire on High. This is, it don't get no better than this. This book cover is fire, all right? Check out Case and Calendar, King and the Dragonflies. Come on. Look at it. Stunning. James McBride, Dick and King Kong. This is for adults. Fire. And something a little older and a little more artistic. The Mayor of Harlem, David Henry. Look at that. Beautiful, right? A little more artistic. I love art. This one, slam it. And of course, I think the track series, perfect. I think those are perfect covers. So here's what I want y'all to do. Today, I want y'all to draw book covers. Make up a book cover for your book, whatever your book would be. Right? Which means you're going to have to figure out sort of some sense of story in order for you to design the cover, because you got to know what the book is about in order for the cover to match it, right? And so I want you to draw, and it don't matter if you're not an artist. It's okay. And it doesn't matter if it's even pictures, right? Think about what book covers really are and what they do. What would your book cover look like? Now, if you can't come up with a story, that's okay. What I would challenge you to do is, if there was a book on your life, what would that book cover look like? I mean, if it was a story about my life, who knows? I mean, it would probably be like a book cover of like a question mark with hair or something like that. I don't know. Either way, give it a shot. Let me know how it goes. All right. And by the way, tell your older sister that, like, you know, I saw her try and roller skate the other day and it was wild. No good. Peace.
All right, so just as Mr. Reynolds said, we are going to create a cover that reveals our story. So you can almost use the slide that you had as a basis. You can do something completely new. It's up to you. Okay, but your cover should reflect your interests, and it needs to have just 3 things: a title, your name, and visuals that represent different things about you. So we're going to go ahead into Schoology so that you guys can see what the assignments look like for today. So I'm going to go ahead and log in as one of our students so that we have the same view. I'm going to go back up to my courses, and remember, we have all of the sign-ins here. We're going to week of 9/8. It's finally Friday, so we click Friday. So for today, obviously participating in a lesson. If you're watching this or if you did the Zoom, you're already good. So you have to complete the personal book cover assignment, and then we're also going to complete the author spotlight discussion post. So your personal book cover, you've got Jason's video right here if you need to rewatch it. He's got all of your directions, and then what I did was I copied the slide from our PowerPoint presentation on here that has all of the different points that you need. You guys have the Logitech pen, and if you would like to draw your visuals instead of inserting them as pictures, that is completely fine, and you should be able to use that. If it's not working, you don't have to use it, okay? You can use clip art like I did. Here's my example down here, the Tales of an Awkward 8th Grade Teacher. You can see my face. And then I have books because I teach ELA. I love shoes and I love clothes. I'm constantly thinking about outfits, so they're up here. And then obviously sweets are always on my mind too. So this shows, you know, kind of those awkward thoughts that I have throughout the day. There's a rubric down here that lets you know exactly what we're looking for. And then what you're going to do, just like the slide, is click on that My Document. And if it does not pop up right away, okay, you can click they can't see your document, all right? And once it finally pops up, you click Edit. And when you click Edit, it's going to take you right into the template. Now, if you notice on my actual example, I had the title going down the spine. What you do is you insert a text box, okay? And I can click the Tales of an 8th grade student named Ben. I can make it whatever font I want, and then if I turn it, it will fit lengthways on the spine, okay? I'm going to delete that so he can actually make his own. But then remember, if you want to insert a picture, you go to Insert, Pictures. You can choose from your iPad. If you want to Google Pictures, you can actually save them onto your iPad, and that would work. But there's also shapes and icons. Like I used the speech bubble which is somewhere on here. Hey, I'm recording, sorry. There's a speech bubble on here that you can use, and you can change. If you click on shape, you can change the color that it's filled with and its outline, so on and so forth, okay? And the same thing under icons. If you hit insert icons, they have a bunch of different clip art pieces too that you can use. So that's your personal book cover. It shouldn't take long to do. Get as creative as possible. The more creative you are, the more points you will earn. And then last but not least, we also have our author spotlights. And in the author spotlight, you are actually going to go to Jason Reynolds' website, and we included the website right here. You'll click on it. You're going to create a discussion post that tells me 3 things, 3 facts about him that you thought were interesting, a book of his that caught your attention that you'd probably like to read, and then why you want to read it. So when you go to his website, it's very, very, very simplistic. So right here, you have a lot about Jason Reynolds. Okay. If you go to his about, there's even more. If you click books, it shows you all of the different books that he has written. Remember, we just read some of A Long Way Down. And if you click on them, it gives you a little bit of a preview or a synopsis. Okay. He also has on here under procrastination, he has some of his active poetry that he posts. And if you read some of these, it's they're actually from quarantine and some of the things that were happening, especially with the social justice movement that's happening. And there's, some really, really awesome insight to who he is. So take your time with this, and I am so excited to see how you identify as a reader and who you are when you turn yourself into a book, and also what you think about Jason Reynolds. So I'll see you later.